Yeah, you are live.
It's live, yeah.
Well, good. Hello, everyone. This is Kelly Coates Gilbert. I'm broadcasting on She's Reading from Dallas, Texas tonight. And I have a dear friend and author buddy, author extraordinaire, Barbara Hinske with us tonight. And I was so delighted when her schedule allowed for her to be here tonight because this is a very busy week for her. Many of you, when I was so tickled because when I announced that we were having Barbara, comment after comment was, oh, I love her books. I love her books. She's one of my favorite. And Guiding Emily has just really hit. And tonight, we're going to talk about something really special that not all authors get to talk about. And that is Barbara's book, Guiding Emily, has been made into a Hallmark movie that debuts tomorrow night. So we're going to be talking about that. But before we do, let me just do a little bit of housekeeping. You might notice that we're on a different platform. I normally broadcast from Zoom, but as many of you who regularly join us know, that Zoom just kicks my rear end. It seems like every time I started, we would get feedback and problems, and I hated that. And I couldn't see any comments. And so I purchased StreamYard, and that's what we're using tonight for the first time. So this is our debut, and we may have a few things that we have to work through, but one of the things I loved is that it allows the comments. So I'm not seeing any people here commenting. I'm not sure why that is, but it could be just that you haven't commented yet because you're not used to being able to do that. I believe that StreamYard, the first time you come in and try to comment, I think it may make you register with StreamYard. Some of you probably already are because other authors have used this platform for long time, including Elena Johnson, and I think Fresh Fiction, and a whole bunch of them use it. So some of you may already be registered, but go ahead and, oh, there's a Facebook user. It says, woohoo, I don't know who you are. I don't see a picture and I don't see a name. So I think from your end, you have to actually type your name so that I know who you are. But whoever said woohoo, woohoo, I'm so tickled we get to see comments. That is just so. Oh, here's another Facebook user saying, I have my DVR set. I can't wait to watch it. Yay.
Yay.
So anyway, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to introduce Barb, and then we're going to get right to it and turn it over to her because she has so much to tell us. Oh, look, it's Ruthie Lewis. Ruthie Lewis is with us tonight. So Barbara is a USA Today bestselling author. She's a former attorney who left for a full-time novelist career. She has thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews. She's in Kindle Unlimited, as many of you know, and she has over 2.5 million page reads as of last spring, so many more now. She's the author of the popular Rosemont series, which is 9 books. I've read many of those. And her newest is the Guiding Emily series, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. That's 4 books. When I announced that that Barb was going to be here, like I said, so many of you said that she was one of your favorites, and so I'm really tickled about that. But you're not alone in that opinion because I looked at her reviews. Let me just read you a few. Couldn't put the book down, said one reviewer. Here's another one. Elicited so many emotions, a definite must read. Another one said, what a touching story of courage. I love that one. And then I would die for this next one. This reviewer said, this is the best book I've read in decades. So what accolades, Barb. I'm so excited to have you here. It is no wonder that Hallmark Movies and Mysteries picked up Guiding Emily for production. It was one of my favorites. I just consumed it in 2 nights. Just read it, and loved every minute. And I could hear your voice and your character in it. We were talking before we came on screen, and Barb and I share a little bit of a philosophy in that we love to tell stories that bring hope and encouragement and good things to the world, because the world can be a hard place sometimes. And Barb definitely does a good job of that. Look at this. Your fan. I have my DVR set. Can't wait to watch. We have a lot of people here who are your fans, Barb. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Guiding Emily. Tell us about what how the story came to you, what a little bit it's about, in case there's some people who haven't read it, and then let's talk about that movie.
Well, first of all, thank you, Kelly, for inviting me here. And I would always cancel anything on my schedule to be with you, because I love you with a burning passion as well, and admire your work and your books. And yes, we both gravitate towards the positive, because focusing on the negative only brings you down, and there is no point in that. So we are kindred spirits in that, as Anne of Green Gables would say. We would be bosom friends. We are bosom friends, as she said about her friends. So that's kind of a shout back to a simpler time, which I love. So, Guiding Emily is the first in the 4-book series. It's about a young woman named Emily Main who loses her eyesight in a tragic accident, and her journey through the very real depression and despair and hopelessness that entails in people who lose their sight, and then her regaining confidence as she learns the skills that she needs to live a white cane training and all the rest. Yeah. At the same, that book alone, that storyline alone would have been a very hard and depressing book. So I'm like, what can I do to lighten it up? So I wrote a point of view first person character, and I rarely write first person, but this one is
first person.
Yeah, is a guide dog, and his name is Garth. And it starts when he's a puppy, goes through his puppy raising experience and his training. And at the end of the book, the love story is Garth and Emily are matched together as handler and guide dog. So that's the love story.
I loved it.
It's a little different than a traditional Hallmark love story in that respect, but I'll tell you what, obviously any author loves to sell their book rights, but I was particularly their screen rights careful with this, because after I published this in June of 2020, I started getting comments weekly. I have a big file that is a blessing to have, from newly blind adults telling me that this book has given them hope. Or from people losing their sight to a variety of ocular diseases, telling me the book has made them less afraid. Okay. And in talking to people, as visually impaired people are watching TV, there are a number of series. One is In the Dark, which I've watched, probably some of you have too, where the main character, at least in the first season, is a young woman who's an alcoholic, promiscuous, and true, anybody can be that. Blind people can be that. But there were so few at the time positive role models for the visually impaired on the screen that it was devastating to that community, and they wanted positive images. Another reason that was so important to me is because the unemployment rate among the employable visually impaired, because there are people who have co-disabilities and perhaps can't work, but among the people that can, unemployment is 70%, 70. Wow. I've interviewed hundreds of visually impaired people, and nobody says, when I get out of this, when I grow up, I really want to be on Social Security disability for the rest of my life. No one says that.
Let me interrupt a second, because that is one of the things that just shines in this novel. You can tell that you did your homework. You can tell that you spent that kind of time researching and talking to people, and it shows.
Thank you. I was so blessed in that research. The Foundation for Blind Children, I'll talk about that later, gave me white cane training, let me sit in on counseling sessions among newly blind adults. They all signed waivers. I've remained friends with some of them. Oh, wow. There was a woman in that group who went in for an emergency C-section, lost her baby, and lost her eyesight because there was an oxygen deficiency. Mm. So, how in the heck do you move forward with that kind of an experience? So with all of that, I thought, I will not allow the visually impaired community to be victimized by a screen portrayal that is, in essence, the poor little blind girl. What I really want is for employers to see this movie, and I'm hoping it gets made into a series, and say, you know what, they can do a lot more than I thought they could. You know, employers are always yammering about they want problem solvers, out of the box thinkers. Well, if that's what you want, hire a blind person. They are thinking outside the box and problem solving all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of our people just said, sorry, I'm late. Is this a Hallmark movie? And yes, it is. It's a Hallmark movie, and Mysteries picked it up.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about how that came about, how you learned of it, what the process was. Yeah. I'm sure I'm interested, and I know that our members here are probably dying to hear how all that came about.
And I think you can be encouraged by this, Kelly. I thought after the Christmas Club, I did go on location for 2 weeks, and I have a life coach who asked me, so what are you going to be prepared to pitch? And I was like, well, what do you mean? He said, well, what if somebody asks you, what else have you got? Barb, you got to have talking points ready. Okay. So I had pitches ready. They did ask that. I did pitch, and I told people about this new book I was going to write, and they said, okay, well, float it to us when you're done. And I did, and nobody bought on it. So I thought, oh, well, I think part of it was because working with dogs is very tricky. Oh. So I purchased a Kirkus review for Guiding Emily, and it was favorable. And Beth Grossbard, the executive director who acquired the book and brought it, the screenwrites, and brought it to Hallmark, reads Kirkus reviews, looking for books like yours and mine. Uh-huh. So she found it, and published in mid-June, by August, I was in conversations with her. And it was remarkable because I said, you know, in the past, it's just like, okay, somebody's interested and here's what they'll pay you. And then you try and negotiate a little bit and then you sign and you're done. I said, told my agent, I really need to talk to her. I got to figure out if she's going to be good with this. And 4 hours of conversation later with her and her, literally, I'm like, good thing I went to the restroom before we started this. I thought it'd be 15 minutes. We're an hour into it. And Beth says, you know, I have to take a meeting. I'll be back in about an hour and a half. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We talked about everything. We talked about the feeling tone. We talked with her other executive producer, the goals for the movie. At that point, I don't think Coda had even come out, but we said, you know, we want to have as many visually impaired actors as we can.
I love that too.
Yeah.
So we're already getting a couple of questions about when it's airing. So it's airing tomorrow night, and stay tuned, because before we end this broadcast, Barbara's going to tell you about how you can join her for a huge watch party. It's a big stinking deal. I'm going to be there. A lot of my author friends are going to be there. Hundreds and hundreds of people are going to be there. And you'll get to join us too tomorrow night if you want to watch with us. So Barb's going to give you all the details. So hang tight and let her tell us all about that. Tell me something. Where was this filmed?
It was filmed in Victoria, British Columbia.
Oh, I thought so.
At the end of June. And it was absolutely beautiful. I'd never been. I would love to move there. It was just glorious. Yeah. I'm from Phoenix, so it was hot here. It was way too cold there. I had not packed appropriately. So the first day I was buying every medium-sized sweatshirt I could get my hands on because I was freezing. But the people were nice, and the locations. When you watch the movie, Emily's mother's house is in the movie. I mean, to tell you, this place was like a $10 million mansion right on the ocean in this community. I was talking to the owner about it. It's beautiful. The garden is stunning. And she said in the homeowners association, you have to keep your grass cut to no more than a certain height. I mean, I'd never heard of that before. So I don't live in that Tonia neighborhood. So watch, if for nothing else, that house, those scenes, and there are a lot of them, are just eye candy.
So you got to go to the set. Tell us about that. So you flew in and tell us what it was like. And also, I'd like to know who the stars are, because I noticed, I watched one of the some movie clip somewhere. I don't even know where I saw it, but it looked like the woman who's playing the lead was one of my favorite doctors on what was that medical show?
Grey's Anatomy.
Yes. Grey's Anatomy. She
was
Grey's Anatomy, and I adored her in that, and so I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's her. Her name is Sarah Drew, and it was interesting because at one point we were filming in an actual medical school in British Columbia, but it was summer, so there weren't many classes in session. And at one point, Sarah walked like around the corner, and there were some students gathered, a bunch of women. They started screaming and just hugging her and said, "You're the reason why I went to medical school." So Sarah Drew, who is everything, she's she's lovely. And Antonio Cupo is Matthew, her love interest. That's a new character.
So they invested in some celebrities. I mean,
they did. Eric McCormick is the voice of Garth. He is brilliant. The actor who plays Druv in the book and Drew in the movie, perfect. Andy Makita directs it, and he's not a Hallmark director. He directs Virgin River on Netflix.
Oh, I love Virgin River.
I do too. And so they want, in fact, I think it drops.
Nice. I've got it DVR'd.
They wanted a more dramatic director for this, because for Hallmark, they view this as a little bit of an outside, they're stepping outside their box.
I wondered if they were testing the waters a little bit.
Yeah.
And broadening their scope.
Yeah. And they were so committed to this film and to the vision of the film. The dogs, there are 8 dogs that play Garth, from little puppy to, full-grown guide dog. They are all from the British Columbia and Alberta guide dog system, guide dog school. So those handlers were there. And as a matter of fact, during filming, 3 members of the crew signed up to be puppy raisers because they were so moved.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. And every single actor, every single character who is blind in the movie, even all the extras, with the exception of Sarah, and that's a whole nother story, but with the exception of Sarah, is an actual blind actor from Canada.
That's wonderful.
So they really went the extra mile and the extra frankly expense to keep this authentic. It'll be interesting for viewers to see if they really, there's one actress in particular, like if you met her in real life, you would have no idea. No idea.
No idea she was blind?
No idea she was blind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really, really looking forward to the watch party tomorrow night. When you were on set, that must have been a trip. I mean,
yes.
I have a pretty short bucket list, but that's definitely on my bucket list. I think every author dreams about having the words they wrote made into a movie and sitting on set as the writer. What was it like?
It is very emotional to see words that you wrote on the screen. And when you're on set, you sit with the director of photography, who has 2 screens in front of him, looking at the different camera angles. Mm-hmm. Behind him are a row of those high chairs, right, that you see. The executive producer is there, the script supervisor, who looks at every word they say to make sure they're following the script. And then my husband and I were nice enough to get there. And, the first day we got there, we were invited for one day only. I had booked 2 weeks in the hotel, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to be nice and see if they invite me back. And that's what happened, because we weren't like, oh, well, you should have done this, or I didn't like that. No, you're just positive. Mm-hmm. So they invited us back. And then by the second day, they made sure we had our headsets, both of us, so you could watch this. Mm-hmm. And there were a number of times when we cried. In fact, there were 2 scenes in the movie where every single solitary person on set cried. And there are probably 75 people, because you got all the lighting people and, all the ancillary stuff. One of those scenes was when the doctor takes off her bandages and she can't see. She realizes the surgery to restore her corneal attachment does not work, and she's blind. And in fact, one of the young man, James Jope, who is an executive producer, after the second tape, took off his headset tape and said, I'm going to watch it. I can't listen to it anymore. I mean, tears. I just can't listen to it again.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So I'm getting chills thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, it's a thrilling thing, and I'm so proud of you, Barb. When I read the book, I knew it was special. And so when I saw the announcement that it had been picked up, I really wasn't that surprised, particularly because you'd had other, books made into movies. Yes. And so I knew you kind of were in that circle. And so I wasn't surprised, but I was delighted because I thought this book has such potential to hit the hearts of viewers. And for all of you who are with us tonight, I am so excited to have you here. And to let you have this little bit of a back screen as you might look at what it was like for Barb. I can't imagine you understanding how you sat in front of your screen with a cup of coffee and out of your mind, you made up characters and things and the impact that that's going to have, the income, the employment opportunities, the movie stuff, all the people that are going to financially benefit. What an amazing thing,
I hadn't thought about the other people financially benefiting. And that makes me very happy because people on a movie set work very hard. And, it's not like people are just always rolling home wheelbarrows full of money. These are people who work very, very hard and are kind and sweet to each other. This movie in particular, I have such high hopes that this feeling of hope and courage that people who read the book get, I'm hoping that this movie amplifies it and that employers look at this and think, oh yeah, I could hire a blind person. The case in point, someone I know personally was working as an assistant manager at a movie theater chain, was losing his eyesight gradually. They never knew. He was doing his job just fine until he finally had to show up with his white cane. And they let him go because the insurance company for this movie theater chain said they did not feel that the patrons of the movie theater would be safe in a fire or an emergency with an assistant manager who was blind.
Wow.
Okay, there's just all kinds of education that needs to happen.
Yeah.
With that. That's just tragic to me. And I'm really hoping that more people who watch this movie will become puppy raisers.
Yeah. Hey, maybe some of you guys would actually seeing the movie, you guys would be prompted to look into some of this and reach out to Barb and see how you can be involved in those kinds of things. Let's turn now for a minute. I want you to tell them about the watch party. Okay. Because I can already tell a lot of people, Michelle just said the movie is on her reminders. Tell people how they can watch the movie with you and the watch party that's all scheduled.
So let's run down the basics. The name of the movie is the same as the book. I'm happy about that. It's Guiding Emily. And Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. It's 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Check local listings because there are so many ways people watch TV these days. So and in that vein, I'm going to do a watch party on my Facebook page, on my Facebook author page, which if you just Google Barbara Hinske on Facebook.
Okay, I'm going to stop right here because what's going to happen is I just tried to post a comment and I guess this thing doesn't let me because I'm hosting. But when we get done with this, Barb is going to go back onto She's Reading. And she's going to post a lot of things. She's going to post links to her watch party. She's going to post a link to her website that tells you all about this movie. Okay? Yeah. So all of you who really want to come and watch with us, those 2 links will be posted. Okay?
I love that. Yep, I will do that. I will do that. Okay. So I'm going to be doing this watch party. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, which is Pacific time right now. I'm going to be doing it at 9 o'clock Eastern time and 9 o'clock Pacific time. So I'm going to do it twice to get people on both coasts. And I'm going to kind of fashion it after an actual live party I did in my own home for the Christmas Club. We watched it on Hallmark, had 2 TVs, and I had a script during commercial that, we muted it, and maybe Hallmark didn't like that, but anyway, we muted commercials and let them play. And I asked questions. My husband was in the other room, and we switched at intermission or halfway through, and we would give some behind the scenes dirt and then ask a question and give a silly pair of fries, Hallmark socks or whatever. And then go on to the next segment. And it was so popular. One of my friends said, "Oh, nobody's going to go for this, Barb. People are going to be wandering around. You better have your food." No, nobody moved. It was so much fun. So I thought, well, let's try and do it virtually. So I'm going to put up a little graphic that says watching Guiding Emily on Hallmark, back at commercial, come back at commercial. And I'll answer questions and give some of the behind the scenes dirt about the movie. And I think it's going to be fun. And then from the comments will go on my Facebook page, which I'm hoping I'll be able to see because I've got a million different devices. So I think I'll be able to see them. And then on Saturday, we'll just pick a winner of anybody who commented, and you get if you sign up for the watch party, you'll see what you get.
Yeah. Well, so I am trying to put there it is. So it sounds like it is a party. There's going to be, prizes and people chatting and people, discussing the movie together on the breaks. And I'm going to be there. My husband's going on a big hunt and he's leaving in the morning. So I get the house to myself. I'm so glad. So me and my brand new puppy Lennon, we're going to be popping some popcorn and getting some drinks, and we're going to be watching with you, Barb. I can't wait.
I love that. And if you do sign up for the watch party at my website, and I'll put that link, there's like a little behind the scenes information, what the inspiration for the book and all that. That's kind of a nice story. And there are lots of
book trailer there. A movie trailer. I couldn't remember.
No, I don't think it is on the watch party. It should have been. Well, there's recipes.
One, put that there too.
And I'll put the trailer on the She's Reading thing. There's recipes. There's Hallmark. There's Guiding Emily bingo cards. There's just some little fun stuff.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. I assume that your trusted assistant is going to be helping, and she's a doll baby.
She is nice. Yeah. She is fabulous. She is absolutely fabulous.
So tomorrow night, my assistant Danielle has been working with Barb's assistant, and she's going to at least put a link up because we're going to be, as She's Reading group together, we're going to be watching Barb's stuff. So I think Danielle has already posted some stuff on She's Reading, some links and things. I don't know what all she's posted, but be on the lookout here at She's Reading. And like I said, Barb's going to post all that information.
I will. I'm just so excited. And I really hope like I say, if the ratings are high enough, Hallmark will make it into a weekly series. And the producers, directors, and main actors have all signed on. So I think the visually impaired community is more excited than you can possibly imagine.
I can only imagine. Yeah. And there needs to be some really good, great stuff on TV for us to tune into. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to encourage all of the She's Reading members to do is Barb has the books up as well. And are they in KU?
Oh yeah, they're in KU. Okay.
So a lot of you guys are KU readers. So get in there and get those books and have them ready to go, because when you watch the movie, I think it'll even be more fun to go get the books and read completely through those four books. I read the first one, and I certainly plan to go grab some of the others and read those as well.
Thank you.
So I really encourage everyone to do that. And you can, from Barb's page, there are links to all the different retailers and things that she sells. So you'll be able to do that.
All that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know you're really busy, Barb. This has been a big week for you. I just saw that you were posting everywhere, and I was applauding you. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for making time for us.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys are the best. You're the best. Thank you so much. Can't wait to be with you tomorrow night. I can't wait to hear what you think about it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think you'll really love the movie. I did. It's feel good, but have some tissues for happy tears. That's a tip.
Yeah. All right. Get the tissues, the popcorn, the Coca-Cola. Go to
Yeah.
All right. We're going to end our stream tonight. And I hope that this particular platform worked a little bit better. I certainly enjoyed being able to see comments. There's a whole bunch of these comments that just say Facebook user. So we'll figure out how maybe you guys can actually put in your names. I'll learn how to do that in instruction next time so that we've got names. I can see Michelle's, but that was the only one I could see. But anyway, so thank you for bearing with us with this new platform. And I think it worked better than Zoom. I hope.
That's great.
Anyway, we'll see you soon. And we'll certainly see you at Barb's watch party tomorrow night.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.